If you have interacted with the CTR Time Trials community, you may have heard of the term imbrogliamento. Imbrogliamento is a word in Napoletan Italian meaning roughly cheating, although no proper translation exists. About half of the CTR Time Trials community is Italian, and a majority of the Italian players come from the Italian southern cities such as Naples. In 2020, the campione of the game, V2 referred to all the new records performed using these shortcuts as achieved through imbrogliamento, and the term has stuck since. While the shortcuts found since 2012 hardly share anything in common with each other, they all had a similar effect on the leaderboard for those who wish to play the old way. Ever since 1999, shortcuts, both intended and unintended, have been a part of Crash Team Racing time trials. Even before any competition had really started, people around the world had made discoveries. Some shortcuts were found so early on, we do not even know by whom or by how many. For the purpose of this video, if a shortcut appears natural and only involves intended geometry of the game, it is a cut. If a shortcut is named after the part it skips, it is a skip. Otherwise, shortcuts are named simply shortcuts. The following were found by the Western community already before any real competition had started: Blizzard Bluff Fence Cut, Popo Pyramid Wall Shortcut, Hot Air Skyway Fence Shortcut, and Oxide Station Space Skip. Additionally, in 2000, Japanese readers of the Dengeki PlayStation magazine had discovered at least the Polar Pass Lake Skip, which would not be discovered by Western players until 2002. From 2001, the French community would make discoveries such as the Hot Air Skyway Hairpin and Mega Shortcuts. They also figured out how to cut the grass on Tiger Temple effectively. These shortcuts were taken into consideration in the original set of standards by Arsène Lupin. Thus, there was no separation between shortcut and no shortcut categories. In 2005, Thomas 60, Skandu, and Stelzig made major discoveries after the progress system was understood. Thanks to their efforts, 3 new shortcuts were found: Hot Air Skyway First Shortcut, Slight Colosseum Shortcut, and Oxide Station First and Second Shortcuts. These shortcuts were found so early that they would complete a set of skips that nearly everyone would use in the future and can be seen as the classic shortcuts. For 3 years, the game was stable and active. Players enjoyed a period of competition, with discoveries only involving tech rather than shortcuts. This could be called the golden age of CTR. In January 2008, a Finnish player, Cortex Shark, posted a video of a shortcut he had discovered on his own. And in December that year, a fellow Finn, Black Team Freezing, used this shortcut to achieve a world record by nearly 2 seconds. This new BTF shortcut was the first shortcut that even top players sometimes would choose to avoid for its difficulty. Also around this time, the Peruvian player Linkter discovered a shortcut on Tiny Arena that would save a massive 8 seconds, but he only did so using cheats, and for the time being, it seemed impossible to perform this without them. In 2013, a YouTube user called AJB posted a set of save state runs that displayed a new strategy for Hot Air Skyway Lab. This involved a series of techniques such as the spin-out pad skip found by Justin Zimmerman, and a shortcut in the spiral section that was revealed earlier by a few YouTubers using GameShock. Hot Air Skyway USF lap would later be considered by most the first embrullamiento, but for another 7 years this term would not be invented. Despite significantly altering the leaderboards, it was so difficult that ultimately the best players ended up on top again. Especially as the track was already broken by the BTF shortcut earlier. 6 years after Linkser demonstrated the Tiny Arena shortcut, French player Green Day Seb was grinding Tiny Arena and had a habit of occasionally trying the shortcut on bad attempts. Fateful Run crashed 2 turns before the shortcut, and he went for it. It was successful. This marked the first time in the history of CTR where a luck-based shortcut allowed anyone to achieve a top time with enough patience. While speedrunners in other games may consider this the norm, CTR had gone relatively unchanged for almost a decade at this point. A shortcut like this, in a beloved and unbroken track, was a huge shock to the community. Nonetheless, the spirit of speed over anything else meant almost nobody wanted to separate categories at this point. So now we have 3 additional shortcuts. In October 2017, a new face emerged: Nix. He posted a video called Crash Team Racing Tiny Arena New Shortcuts. This was quickly shared to the at the time somewhat dormant community, and Nix began using TAS tools with the guidance of Justin Zimmerman, with the goal of discovering the limits of the game. Not long after, a player who is known today as Ale Mastroianni also became interested in making discoveries, and this duo especially made the following discoveries possible thanks to their great efforts and curiosity. Oxide Station Nix shortcut. Papu Pyramid Tiziano shortcut. Crash Cove NMZ. Slide Colosseum Doppio shortcut. Tiny Arena Corky shortcut. And Oxide Station Start Line glitch. The two of them rekindled the activity of the CTR community, and from August 2018 until the release of Nitro Fueled, a silver age of CTR with great activity began. Before Nix's and Ale Mastroianni's efforts, the sum of world record times was just over 37 minutes and 30 seconds. Over 3.5 minutes have been cut since then. But this all came at a cost. Leaderboards were now not so much a measure of your skill, but rather whether you played the game after 2018. The shakeup resulted in many great players of the past to fall down in overall rankings to players who themselves feel inferior to them. Lack of foresight to have some form of a no-skips leaderboard has led to CTR Forever becoming a measure of how many skips you have performed rather than how well you drive. But even then, this should not be seen as the fault of Nix and Ale Mastroianni, but rather, it's all Arsen's fault. And Arsen, if you're watching, I'm just kidding. Thus, embrullamiento has become the term to refer to any shortcut that disturbed the leaderboard significantly. While it is not entirely clear where the line is drawn, everyone agrees that at the very least everything after and including linked shortcut are
Imbrugliamento!
While some may say that even BTF shortcut is one. I hope that we can find a way to encourage play using only the classic shortcuts without denying the skill involved in performing shortcuts either. But that remains to be seen.
Imbrugliamento!